in the process of discussing this whole Pitbull issue, there's some things that motherfuckers need to really realize. You know what I mean? Like, I fucks with them dudes, man, who understand good dogs is where you find them. Shout out to Red Mozzie. My nigga Bando for life. Let nobody tell you shit. Mozzie is the shit. Mozzie is the shit. Pedigree or not, that bitch is the shit. Period. So shout out to my nigga Bando for life. Shout out to Thompson Kennels. Shout out to, you know, like my dude do his thing. He's in his motherfucking lane and he don't give a fuck what y'all talking about. He do his thing. Y'all scream pretty pedigrees. Y'all scream, oh, unproven dogs, this, that, and the third. Motherfuck what you talking about. Oh, when you first applied for this job, you said until you lay hands on the motherfucking dogs, you work them yourself, you don't know what that dog is made of. I spend the kind of time with my motherfucking dogs that they have made, they convinced the shit out of me who the fuck they are. Like my dog Scrap at the drop of a hat, B. It's on and popping. This represents the carnivore. My female is the most restrained out of all of them. And man, if you sleep on that bitch Henny, it's like sleeping on the drink Henny. Find yourself fucked up around here. So, I digress. What I really wanted to say was, when you look at the history of the American Staffordshire Terrier, at least you try to trace that history through the pedigrees, APBT online, right? Then what you find is that those dogs were originally, here we go again, bred off of some Carver Eli shit. Now, where the blue color comes in, I'm not 100% certain. We know that red is a recessive gene, that black throws everything. It's quite possible that the blue is a recessive gene as well. A little more homework needs to be done on that. But nevertheless, there is nothing to indicate that the American Pit Bull Terrier was ever bred with anything outside of an American Pit Bull Terrier to produce the American Staffordshire Terrier. In fact, I find it very interesting that the very same people we honor and you know give all these kudos to as being true dogmen and dogmen legends were the very ones who created this Staffordshire breed, who created this Staffordshire strain, I should say, and who also called it an American Pit Bull Terrier and registered it with the ADBA. So now, here we sit as Johnny-come-latelys, trying to judge those men's work and put labels on what they themselves had already named. I don't know if you people understand the audacity that you have to claim and or that you present. Like you come off as being very pompous and presumptuous to tell those men what they were breeding. So many places we fully acknowledge that the American Staffordshire Terrier is just a name that was created so that this dog could get some official recognition in the world. And the dog we're referring to is the American Pitbull Terrier. So now, if the American Staffordshire is bred off the American Pitbull Terrier, and the American Pitbull Terrier is bred off the Bull Terrier dogs that were imported from England and Ireland, do some research on Lloyd's Pilot. It's all done by computer. See how many times Lloyd's Pilot pops up in pedigrees along with Colby dogs and you know what lines we have today that can be traced back to this Lloyd's Pilot dog. Because he was imported from overseas. He was a Bull Terrier. He was not. He was a Staffordshire Bull Terrier. He was not an American Pit Bull Terrier. So Staffordshire Bull Terrier is in the American Pit Bull Terrier. The American Pit Bull Terrier is in the American Staffordshire Terrier. And both the American Pit Bull Terrier and American Staffordshire Terrier are in the motherfucking Camelot working pit bull dog. Oh, but it's not a pit bull. No. The fuck are y'all working with, man? Your critical thinking skills are really lacking. Look beyond fucking labels, look beyond fucking words, and look at what you have in front of you. It's like you motherfuckers believe the news and don't believe what goes on in the streets right on your doorstep. They'd run off on campus as a pack. Then they would come back when they heard certain chimes. They got used to it, come back because they had to be lifted into their cages a lot. All of the purists and all of the ranting that people are doing regarding these dogs, I've been around long enough to know that there are plenty of dogs. Especially with some of this old Eli stuff and some of them bigger dogs, man, like, you can look at the jowls on them dogs. You hear the stories about the temperament on these dogs. There was some Mastiff mixed in them. Big black dogs. There was Mastiff mixed in them. Some of these motherfucking American Pit Bull Terriers that look like fucking damn near like bloodhounds or some shit. Like, why do you think that is, man? They was crossed into something. So where y'all get off with this purist shit? Can the dog fucking work? Do the dog put that work in? Everything else is bullshit. I'll show you fucking videos of my dogs bringing fucking groceries home from Walmart. Literally carrying carts, pulling carts full of groceries. I can't tell you how many pounds of shit was. I know it wasn't no fucking light shit. It wasn't no shit that you gonna just throw on your back. You need a vehicle to transport these groceries. These dogs pulled that shit more than a mile and some change home. No problem. Just gone. Traffic and everything, moving around, barking dogs. Everything. Midday. It's fucking 80, 90 degrees outside. Midday they bring these fucking groceries home. When you take the pups out, the uterus shrinks up. Others aren't bothered. I think you really need to kind of like 5 days difference. Reevaluate your perspective, your approach. I got motherfucking, I got more heat on my motherfucking hands than I know what to do. And y'all gonna sit there and tell people that these dogs are not pit bulls. You better talk to a real motherfucking breeder of these fucking dogs before you say some shit like that again. You need some fucking references. I give you some fucking references, man. I'm gonna give you these dogs. I'm gonna give you the dudes who got the heat, the heat, not the bullshit. We ain't playing them bully games. What the fuck this dog was originally bred to be? So it's a very valuable thing. I think the designation of working pit bull dog is a reasonable compromise. I think it would be a discredit to the dog, to this particular strain of American Pit Bull Terrier, because that's all it is. It's a strain of Pit Bull, right? You can't call it an American Pit Bull Terrier because if you got this in it, then that's a band dog, or that's a this and that's a that. You can't call it just because it's not a pure. What it's not is a pure fucking box dog. It's not a dog that's been bred for the box for generations and generations and generations and generations. But now in this day and age, what the fuck do you do with a dog that's a pure box dog? What good does it have? What value does it have? You gotta take that shit out in the woods and put it on something in order for it to even have a purpose in life. At least here in the United States. Sometimes I just think you're not thinking. Now we have these books, and it's also on the web. Nobody can say they can't afford this $90 book. Call it up on the web and it's free. To some extent. Eventually, everybody will want to have a site. I'm going to. To coin a phrase or to use a common phrase, I'm going to beg pardon if this particular rant really offends anyone, like really gets under your skin. But I do detest misinformation. And when you scream that these Camelot dogs are bullies and that they are not pit bulls, you are giving people the impression that these dogs should be in the same category as these fucking little exotics and shit running around here that don't live past age 2. Again, you are misleading the public. I don't want someone buying a puppy from me and expecting a bully, some docile couch potato that's going to roll over on its back and just, be fat for life. They have to understand that the dog they are getting from me is Camelot blood, and it is hot. That means you got to get these dogs up, get them out, and work them. Or risk your motherfucking house either getting destroyed or some real fucked up accident happening when you least expect it. I've been through my fair shares of trials and tribulations with these dogs. Having to downsize from having my own property where I could work them at will. Fuck with your herd. Neighbors called the cops. They can peek over the fucking fence and see Star swinging from the fucking tree. They told the cops I was in the backyard hanging my dog. Right? Because this bitch was up there just swinging for hours. Hours the bitch was up there. But she's not a pit bull. She's a bully. She's Camelot bloodline. Why? Because the bitch a little thick. Because the bitch got some brolic in her.
Right now he's redoing his neurology book. See this picture? When he opened the book, he doesn't have to open up to
Drive for days.
One picture he's never seen.
I promised myself that the motherfucking pup, if that bitch Star had a litter, the pup that came out most like Star, I was gonna name that motherfucker Twitch. Because that was Star.
Good way to learn.
She didn't like no motherfucking noise, B. You start making noise, she's snatching something. And she's snatching the closest fucking thing to her. She growls. No chill. No chill. Stop and go with this little bitch. Mean. Nasty. Not a playful dog. Nothing playful in this little bitch. When it's time to work, let's go.
They printed also on heavier paper. The disadvantages of heavier paper makes the book heavy.
Again, I say all of that to say it is gross misinformation to tell people that Camelot dogs are bullies and not pit bulls. So, if you choose to look at the Camelot dog differently, then maybe you would adopt the same designation that the ADBA has, that working pit bull dog designation. It's a little different strain of the same fucking dog, and that's all we have, man. Various strains of the same dog. You can scream the American Staffordshire Blue or not. It's not a pit bull, but you ain't got a fucking thing.
This was the third edition
in the history of those pedigrees to justify that. And if you do, show it to me. In fact, at some point, we could do a fucking live, man. And we could break out the pedigrees live. We could break this shit down and say, listen, man, final debate. Let's get it popping. Because I done did this research, man. I done traced them blue dogs back. I done seen where they go back into some Eli Carver shit. And that in itself makes me wonder, what were the motherfucking breeders of these Eli Carver dogs thinking when they did this?
When I came to the college,
obviously the first motherfucking American pit bull terriers to go into the show ring maybe not would have made the best box dogs, but they would have still had that original blood, that stock, that drop. All they did was take the coldest dogs and put them in the show ring. The coldest dogs that, conformed and had the prettiest structure, put them in the show ring.
Say I've never been in a veterinary college.
So,
well, that's the way it is. I've never gone in. I've made a point.
The working pit bull dog is a strain of the American pit bull terrier. The American Staffordshire Terrier is a strain of the American pit bull terrier. The American pit bull terrier is a strain of the Staffordshire bull terrier, both English and Irish. The real distinction you motherfuckers trying to scream when you scream a game dog, you trying to talk about a box dog. And it ain't it, I can't sugarcoat shit, man. Like I done did the beds and all that and all that. At the end of the day, man, I am who I am. Read up on that. Not to digress. Take, for example, the American Pitbull Terrier that's being raised on a yard of Thompson's Kennels. Now, those are box dogs. Wasn't necessarily meant, wasn't bred for housekeeping and, uh, all that, just kind of running the yard freely. He said, now, they're box dogs, right? Can they be taught other skills? And absolutely, absolutely. But primarily, you need to understand it's a box dog. And genetics is a hell of a thing, right? Shout out to, I think it's Impact Kennels. Picked up the Rebel Rush dog off of Thompson Kennels. Lot of, and I agree with the decision. That's all I'm gonna say. When I looked at that Red Boy Jocko termite litter, I definitely said to myself, that motherfucking pup right there would have been the one to come home with me if I were gonna do that right now. And I choose my words carefully when I say do that right now. So, while these dogs can be house kept, you cannot scream that this is going to be a pack animal. When you start putting 5 and 6 of them together, 4 and 5 of them together, shit, you start putting 2 and 3 of them together, there's going to be some testing of wills, man. You play alpha all motherfucking day long, I guarantee you there's going to be them incidents you can't control. You ain't going to be there 24/7, 365. There's going to be some shit that bust out, and when it break out, it's going to be like, God damn. So now, when you say that a dog with no papers is a mutt, and that a Camelot dog is not a pit bull, it's a bully, I don't think you've ever had to stand in broad daylight and separate 3 motherfucking dogs going at it and won't none of them quit. Straight up midsummer day royal motherfucking rumble in the parking lot of a fucking Home Depot. I don't think you understand that feeling of trying to get that shit under control. County sheriff, local police. So when you say this dog is not a pit bull, I know you haven't really done your homework. You haven't had the experience with the dog to say what it is. Now, I don't match dogs. I don't box. I don't do that box dog shit. Not to say that I have not been exposed to it during my lifetime. I'm New York City born and bred, so I've seen that razor's edge shit when it first hit. And I've also seen in other areas of times. I've been around. I've seen some things. For me, that's a personal decision. That's a personal decision. I think there are plenty of ways to test the value of an animal. If you're truly observant and you're truly even somewhat creative about your approach, you can find out what you need to know about an animal. Again, shout out to the Red Mozzie bitch. Like, I wouldn't give a fuck if somebody dropped her off to your doorstep for free. I wouldn't give a fuck if you adopted that bitch from your local shelter. Bitch is the truth. And you don't understand that until you work with these motherfucking dogs for real. Until you've worked with a dog that got some real motherfucking heat. A dog that you have to stop from killing other dogs. So, I'm tired really of dudes like popping off their mouth. Maybe y'all think because you're just seeing these videos that somehow I'm brand new to this shit. For the sake of discretion, I'm not going to get into a whole lot of details. But there's nothing brand new about me and these motherfucking dogs. So with that, for a motherfucker to put his dog in the box, that's a personal thing. There was a time when it was truly a sporting thing, but now that you've attached this felony thing to it, that could literally destroy a motherfucker's whole career, his whole life, wipe him out, like, nah, fuck all of that. Like, there's nothing that goes on in that pit that means that much to me. The other part of the game I fundamentally disagree with is I don't think my dog has to die to prove how game he is. Like, you know, a motherfucking dog is a deep game motherfucking dog. At some point, you can, you motherfuckers can pick up, yo. I forget which joint I was watching on these YouTube channels, but it was one of these dogs from South America or Mexico or something, man. I wanna scream. It was an Invicto dog, right? But don't quote me on that. All I remember, man, is that so help me. So help me. Like. When they said that this dog had won, like, I think 6 or 7 matches or some shit, and they wanted to keep campaigning him. My thing was like, why would you not breed him? He's an exceptional motherfucking animal, obviously. So when they got to the point where they fucked around and killed the goddamn dog, always keeping the dog in a fucking box,
all of these pages, read the numbers.
They have nothing off the door. This shit made me cry.
Pages.
Because that's how I feel about my dogs. We have a real personal thing going on, man. Like where I have learned to value who the fuck they are as individuals and what they bring to the table. And so, hell yeah, I would breed that. Why the fuck would I not want to keep this around and have more of it? And I wouldn't give a fuck if none of my stock ever saw the outside of my walls. Feed every motherfucking thing I breed. I wouldn't have a fucking problem with it.
Prints like that, another signature on the other side.
So now,
hold that up. Hold it up. Numbers on the other side, inside.
My dogs want that smoke. They want to see another dog get it fucked up. And if the dog is really acting up and they can't get to that other dog, they'll turn on each other. But they're not pit bulls. Anytime I see another fucking dog, I gotta walk the long way around, even when I got my dogs on leashes and that dog is on a leash. I have to start talking to my dogs ahead of time. Leave it. Don't you even think about it. Real shit, yo. But these are not pit bulls. Fuck you. Fuck you. Straight like that. Because at the end of the day, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And you're going to mislead somebody out there into thinking that these dogs are these fucking bullies that you can just parade around the show ring. No. No. You better fucking respect how these dogs rock. And you better talk to a few motherfucking Camelot breeders before you even think about coming up with a label for this fucking dog. So I'm going to educate you motherfuckers today. The proper term for the Camelot dog is the working pit bull dog. That's the proper term for this motherfucking animal. You come on my shit talking about that's not a pit bull.
They have the right to do it.
I'm going to run up on your shit and give you fire. Right now you're getting this fire because you want my shit. If you don't know what the fuck a Camelot working pit bull dog is, stay the fuck off my page making comments. Run them first. Lay hands on them first. Work one first. And then come back and tell me what the fuck it is. And some bully shit. Fuck out of here. Imperial Flame Kennels, y'all. We keep the heat.